to our end of week technical analysis video. We're going to jump straight into things here. So as you know, this blue vertical line represents the last point in which we left off in our last technical analysis video. And what we normally do is we take a path and sort of just go over since the last point we left off, and just sort of mark up the chart. So as you can see, the last point we left off was here. As you can see, we did start finding support at around this 2670 point of interest that we have marked in. However, price then failed at this support, dropping through our 2663 level, and then eventually finding support at our 2657 level. So marking this in, as you can see, we found the support at 2657. Price then came up to test around this 2670 mark again, consolidated on the lower time frames before dropping back down, roughly to the same area as we did on this support here, just a little bit higher at 2660. Price then came up to test our level of 2675. Then we broke back down to test 2670 as a support, which is the previous median resistance for this consolidation block that we had on the lower time frames. Obviously, we are on hour one right now, as you can see at the top left. So we don't actually have too many candlesticks displaying that consolidation block. However, I will go into the lower time frames and go into it in more detail. Then as you can see, we surpassed that level of 2675. Price then broke down to test this previous resistance again, giving us a break and retest pattern as a support. Price then broke up to test this previous high of around 2695. If I go ahead and just delete that real quick. And then as you can see, price came up to test this level of 2708. And as we spoke about and have spoken about many times before, once the price breaks into these new levels of around 2700, price will most likely continue for at least 100 to 200 pips. And as you can see, price did do that. We caught a high of around 2724. With price then breaking back down to where we are now, testing at 2704. So as you can see, this is what has happened. As you can see, there isn't much volatility. We have just sort of had a steady move to the upside. If I go ahead and go to our minute 15 and just go over this consolidation block on this level. So as you can see, lower time frame just sort of consolidating in this point of interest before we had that last breakthrough to 2660, and then price broke up above it, testing as a resistance on this testing as a support on this previous resistance, helping price continue on further. If we go ahead and go to our daily, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in for you guys, and I'm going to delete our paths just so it cleans up the chart a little bit more, and I'm also going to delete this blue vertical line. Did I just delete a point of interest? I did. I'm going to make sure I don't do that. So yeah, as you can see, this is our daily chart. I'll leave that blue vertical line in there because it doesn't interrupt us too much. So as you can see, we did have that bearish move up to 2663 as the final level of support where the candlesticks finished on the Tuesday and the Monday on our last start of week technical analysis. And then as you can see, the last 3 days after that have been bullish. If you remember from our last technical analysis video, we did speak about a bullish move to the upside, and that has happened. And we also spoke about this level here. If I go ahead and grab a eclipse and just sort of drag it along to here, as you can see, this level here is a common resistance on the higher time frames, and I did say in the start of week technical analysis video that we would see, if price comes up, we will see this price tested at first, which is obviously that level of around 2720, the point of interest that we have marked in, with the high side of around 2725. And as you can see, price is retracing right now. Looking at the daily time frame, with this retracement that we can currently see, it looks as if price is finding support and is going to reject off of this 2705 level. However, if we see price surpass, we most likely will be in for a bearish move, taking us back through this level of 2675. If we go down to our minute 15 and sort of just go in and dive in and see what really is happening at this level, as you can see, we are sort of finding a support here. It's not too solid at the minute. If I go ahead and start apart from here, but as you can see, we are sort of consolidating and we are having a bullish move or a bullish pull out of this level now. If we see price surpass this point of interest of around 2705 and continue on to that 2712 level that we have marked in with our purple box, most likely we'll see a continuation on higher, with price eventually surpassing that level of 2725 as we just spoke about. We're going to go ahead and delete this eclipse that we just marked in on our daily. Matter of fact, we're going to go to our weekly. If I just reset price scale and zoom all the way in for you guys. as you can see on our weekly, obviously we are coming now to the end of the week. Don't know why it's not letting me grab this eclipse, which is quite annoying. Give me 1 second. There we go. Cool. And I'm going to delete this blue vertical line as well. So yeah, as you can see, this has been this week. Obviously, we started off bearish and price has moved on bullish, and we are now seeing that retracement back down. If I go ahead and just zoom out just a little bit for you, you can see in the grand scheme of things what is going on, and compare it to price action that we've seen in the past. So as you can see, we did have that touch of the all-time high, and then price is now testing around this previous common resistance of around 2720. So basically what we're looking for the rest of today is price to surpass this level of 2705, which we are currently breaking out of now. As you can see, price has found a support level. If I go and mark this in on the lower time frames, just to show you roughly what I am looking at. So we have that support level there indicated to us by the wicks and the price action of the candlesticks we are seeing, and then we are seeing that bullish pull out of this level. This is unknown territory right here. There is some other technical words, but I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible. As I understand, there is intermediate traders watching this, there's also beginner traders watching this, and there's also literally noobs that don't know what they're looking at. So I try to keep it as simple as possible, but just act as if these areas in between our point of interest are no man's land, unterritorial places within the market that we don't want to sort of be trading or taking positions in. So yeah, as we want, so what we want is we want this support to hold this price and then push up to our next point of interest, perhaps coming down to test this previous level here, which is obviously in no man's land, but on the lower time frames we could definitely mark this level in. As you can see, we had the resistance here and then the support here on that same level, so it definitely is a level right there. So we could definitely see price come down to around that level of 2708 and then continue on higher. Another possibility, possible scenario is for a bullish move anyway, is price break up into this 2700, this 2711, 2712 range, to sort of consolidate in between this range, somewhat like we see here, before price then breaks up even further and goes back up to test that common resistance of 2720. It is definitely a possibility for today. I believe we obviously have an economic news event. As you can see, we have housing and the building permits. They drop at 1:30. That's 1:30 in the afternoon GMT, London time. So obviously we will have some volatility probably enter the market, not a significant amount, but something to definitely take into account at around 1:30. That could in turn give us the bullish volume that we need to see price push up and go and test that resistance before the market closes at 10 o'clock tonight. I'm not sure why this strategy thing is here. I'm just going to remove that real quick. So that's the bullish possibilities, probable scenarios. And we could also go for a bearish scenario right here. As you can see, price is struggling to break out of this level, and we are sort of testing. And you'll see this on, let me go on the lower time frames, you'll see this a lot more clearer. So as you can see, we found a, if I go ahead and grab an eclipse, so we found a support here before price then obviously failed at this support and broke through, and we also found a resistance here where price is now testing. It has just rejected off of there. So as you can see, if I go ahead and delete that one, delete that one, delete that one, and grab the eclipse and just sort of drag it across, as you can see, it is definitely a break and retest on the lower time frames. Obviously, as you know though, the lower the time frame, the less strong the information is. Obviously, if you're looking at the daily or the weekly, it's the information that you're seeing is very, very strong, whereas the lower time frames it's not as strong. But yeah, so what we're looking for is a break of either side here of the 2705 level. If we can see price surpass around where I've marked in this eclipse, most likely we'll see that continuation on to around 2712. Price could either decide to consolidate here, break back down to test the previous level, or continue on bullish towards that 2720 level again. But regarding a bearish scenario, we could definitely see price continue to reject and respect this resistance, with price then breaking through this support that was found at around 2703 and then continuing on. If I go ahead and go to a minute 15 and mark this bearish move that is a possibility in, what we most likely will see is a rejection off of this resistance and previous support, with price then coming down to around 2695, which, as you know, if I go ahead and go to our hour one real quick, this level was the level that held price before we pushed up at sort of the early hours of Thursday and throughout today. And as you can see, we have a resistance on this level again. So if price does sort of surpass this level of 2705, the next level that we'll be looking for to hold price up as a support would be around the 2695 level. Don't get me wrong, there is levels, there is definitely levels that we could see price hold up at. If I go to our minute 15 real quick and just sort of zoom back, there is a level here. As you can see, we've had our resistance, and our support. So we could see price reject off of this level, giving us somewhat of a move like so, instead of continuing on to that 2695 level, testing it around that 2700 level, finding support, and then breaking up, and then coming back to test and continuing on to that 2720 level. If price surpasses this 2695 level, we most likely will see a long bearish continuation, with price probably dropping down to our 2675 level or the 2685 level. So yeah, there's not much indication as to what is more probable in terms of a bullish or bearish move. It's all about what happens in the next sort of hour or so in between this level of 2705. Like I said, we're going to conclude this end of week technical analysis at, if we see price break above the 2705 level, most likely we'll see a bearish continuation with price surpassing or touching the 2710 level and continuing on eventually to the 2720 level. If we see a respect and continue to reject this level of around 2705 as a resistance, most likely we'll see a continuation, and if price surpasses this level of 2700, the next point of interest we're looking for is that 2695 level. Remember, we are just about halfway through the day, maybe just a little give or take. But yeah, so we're definitely going to be looking out for that today as traders. And obviously, as you guys know, if you're watching this video right now, don't hesitate to sort of go off of what I've been saying, pull up your own chart and just have a look, just watch and see if the market goes the way that we've been speaking about. Obviously, just like to clear some stuff up as well. Not that I need to clear it up, but I might as well while it's on the topic. I am not giving trading signals here. I'm not telling you to buy or sell. I'm literally just giving you, I'm just doing some analysis on the charts and telling you sort of what moves we could potentially see. So it's just all about probability. As you know, trading is a probability game, and I'm just sort of going over what sort of indications and what sort of things we're looking for in the market for certain events to happen, like this resistance being surpassed and continuing on to 2712, or this support failing at 2703 and continuing on past our 2700 level to 2695. Again, just showing you guys what is the most probable move. So yeah, that's going to be it for our end of week technical analysis. I think it's been a relatively steady week. Hasn't been amazing, but it's that sort of time of year where the market is sort of making its mind up. As you can see, we're not even we haven't even closed a month into the year yet. As you can see, price is bullish this month. We have had a decent move. We've got around maybe 1,500 around that move so far, so we're not really doing too much. As you know, it's only the 17th of Jan, so technically we're just over halfway through the month anyway, so there's still a lot to happen, and obviously there's still a lot to happen throughout the rest of the year. But yeah, so that's going to be our end of week technical analysis. One thing I'd like to touch up on real quick actually is, as you can see, the candlestick has just finished inside this level, indicating to us that the bulls are sort of still in control of the market, and if price is to break through this 2705 level, it will most likely be in this candlestick, and we'll probably see price continue on bullish from here actually. But yeah, that's going to be our end of week technical analysis. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. We really appreciate your engagement and your feedback, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.